What's up YouTube, it's Ape Indigo, and this is my first cooking video. It's winter, it's cold outside, so I thought I'd kick it off with oxtails. It's a good stew, it's really good when it's cold outside. So go ahead and pause the video right here so you can write down the ingredients. The first thing you're gonna see is the onions, and you see I cut them in two different ways. On the left side, those are the onions that are gonna go in the actual stew, and that's gonna be what people see. So it's all personal preference. Cut it how you want. The onions on the right, also with the jalapenos and the celery, those are all gonna get cooked down in a pan. They're gonna get blended. Now I use potatoes to fill out my stew, and you can use whatever you want. Carrots, onions, potatoes, whatever you want. So you cut those how you want also. It's all personal preference. And presentation's on you. So what I did here was I took my vegetables and fried them up in oil. I did this for about 15-20 minutes. Now what you're looking for here is, I also threw a little bit of garlic. What you're looking for here is you're trying to get a nice clear look on the onions, and you're trying to basically bring out flavor of all these vegetables. You're cooking them down, and it's going to take off a lot of the harshness from the onions, and it's going to take off harshness from the jalapenos, and it's going to give the carrots something nice again. And once again, it does not matter how you cut these, because this right here is all going to get blended down. And after about 10 to 15 minutes, it's going to look like this. And that's looking really good. You see those onions, they're nice and clear. Everything's nice and shiny. It's been breaking down the flavors, and it's really going to change it. Bring out something nice with every single one of those. Next up, you're going to want to add a little bit of salt, and that's just going to help to bring out a little bit more flavor. And it's going to help to season up what is coming next, which I'm going to warn you, it's going to look a lot like baby food. It's going to taste a lot like adult baby food because of the spice and depending on how many jalapenos you use. But here it is. Like I said, it looks a lot like baby food. We're going to go ahead and take this and set it aside, because next up we have our oxtails. So depending on how these are packaged, you are going to want to dry these things off. Mines were vacuum packaged all together, no foam inserts, nothing to absorb the blood, so they were really wet. So I had to get in there, get a paper towel, dry these things off. Very important, because what you're gonna do next is coat these in first flour, and then however you want to season these. I went with the Cajun recipe, so I went with Cajun seasoning, of course, and it's very spicy, and I already had spice with the jalapeno, so you know. So make sure you coat these really well. You don't want any nooks and crannies exposed without seasoning, because the next step is very important. So we're going to take these and we're going to fry them up with a little bit of oil, very small amount of oil in the pan. Now you want to make sure that every side of these oxtails gets browned. So I had a lot of oxtails. I had a pretty large pan, but to be honest, I kind of ran out of space. And what you don't want to do is stack them and have some of them, you know, get steamed from the vapor coming up off the bottom of the pan. You want them all to have contact with the oil, and you want to have space to rotate them. So I'm kind of clumsy. I kind of dropped it there, but that's all good. It's all good. Alright, so we're going to fast forward a little bit, and you want them to get really golden brown and crispy on the outside like this. And at this point, once they're all flipped around, they're all fried, every surface, you can add your vegetables. And you're gonna want to add your red wine. At this point, as well as your beef stock. Now, the difference between stock and broth. Broth is made from basically the meat of the animal, and stock is made from the bones, which draws out a lot of cartilage. It's going to add better flavor and better body to your stew or soup or whatever you're making. So always go with stock over broth. So after about 15 to 20 minutes, I want to bring this up to a boil. And once it starts boiling, you are pretty much good to go to start adding in your final ingredients. And that is going to be the potatoes. And remember, I chose potatoes. You could choose whatever you usually throw into your stew. I always use carrots, onions, and potatoes. That'll round it out. And remember that baby food we set aside. Now, you're going to want to take that and add it to the dish at this point. So, stir that up in there. Mix that all up. So, you're going to want to bring this up to a boil. That's going to take about 15 to 20 minutes. It's going to look like this. It's going to look a little thin. It looks a little like soup, so you want to thicken it. What I used to thicken it is a roux, which is half butter and half flour. And that's going to make it look like this. Now, at this point, your oxtails are done. And I put a little thyme in there to make it look nice. Remember, if you're doing this for somebody special, your presentation has got to be on point. So, right here, this is more of a southern style. It's very laid back and it's very nice, very easy to cook. Side dishes for this, and this is just it by itself with basic greens. And remember, you're cooking this for somebody you care about. Don't make it too serious. You can always have fun, and you can always do something like this. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe, and thanks for watching.